It's rich in flavor, but also rich in history, soul food. And at places like Corface Cafe here, you'll find those recipes go hand in hand with stories. We met one person here in Denver who knows those stories better than anybody else.
I think that's the power of tradition.
Adrian Miller has a distinct title.
I call myself the soul food scholar,
Bet you didn't even know there was such a thing.
and that's a self-appointed title.
He's the perfect person to assist in the kitchen
And what's on the menu?
because for him, soul food is more than a flavor, it's a feeling.
And to cook for someone else is an act of love. So when you make something, you're saying, I love you. Even if it's straight nasty, you still made the attempt, right?
But he says that's not actually where the name soul food came from.
But the earliest iteration of soul and food, like the joining of those words, is actually in Shakespeare's first play, The Two Gentlemen of Verona. And Julia says to Lucetta, "Oh, knowest thou not that his looks are my soul's food?"
Wow, it does smell so good.
Embarking on a quest to understand everything about the cuisine, Adrian became well-fed
So I did this national soul food tour.
and well-read.
I read about 500 cookbooks. I read about 3,000 interviews of former slaves.
But slavery is not the sole origin of soul food.
It's a fusion cuisine. It's West Africa, it's Western Europe, and it's also the Americas. Because we learned a lot from the indigenous people who were already here. I mean, cornbread, for example. Everything we know about cornmeal and cornbread came from Native Americans.
Adrian has written an entire book dedicated to the stories and recipes.
This is my mother's recipe.
Yeah?
If you actually look at the roots of soul food, it's actually quite healthy.
Especially the greens.
And I'm going to give you a greens test.
Collard green.
Yes!
A lighter version with turkey is his recipe. Oh, and about those soul food recipes.
I cannot tell you how many people would not give me their recipes.
Sometimes because there may not be a recipe.
So for the longest time, slaves were not allowed to read or write. The way African Americans kind of flipped that is they created a pride on being able to cook without looking at a recipe. I'm a very giving brother, so I share all of my recipes.
But by the way, he's not a professional chef. He actually worked in the White House.
I worked on something called the Initiative for One America.
Now he researches the power of food to unify.
Because when you come to the table and share a meal with someone, something magic happens.
And it's amazing how something like a peach cobbler can connect the present to the past.
So cobbler is a part of soul food because it harkens back to slavery days. I love a lot of crust. That's my
Gosh.
favorite thing about
The
it.
edge of the crust, like in the corner.
Oh, the corner piece? Nice.
Yet another lesson from the scholar with soul.
So I just hope that people give soul food a lot more love.
With photojournalist Byron Reed, Taronda Thomas, 9 News.